So I've heard many people talk about discovery for SEs. SEs should be doing this, SEs should be doing that. And I'm not even sure what else I can talk about. Except that discovery is not just an SE thing. It's not just a sales thing. It's a sales team thing. So let's discuss that. So the first thing I want to point out about discovery is that it's not one meeting. Yes, you can set a discovery call, but that's not the end of the discovery. When the meeting is done, discovery is not done. The second thing I want to point out is discovery is not a one-way street. It is a two-way street. You're trying to discover things about the customer's trying to discover things about you and your product. They want to know, they want to be able to make the decision if they should move forward. So every time you meet with a customer, you're just trying to provide enough information without opening the kimono, as they say, and collect enough information so you know that you're on the right track and they know they're on the right track, and you earn a little bit more information every time. So when we look at discovery, a lot of us talk about this. This is the discovery, and then the next step is a demo. And then after that, it's most likely a proof of value, proof of concept. What I like to point out here is that the discovery is throughout. All of this is discovery. So we go for a discovery call. We meet up with a customer, we have this meeting, and then we move on to the demo. Maybe we go out to lunch after the demo or something. That's a discovery. Or you're talking on the phone with a customer, that's a discovery. Or you do a discovery and you're about to get to a demo, and then you say, hey, can I talk to some of the individuals on your team to see what they would like to know? Or maybe talk to your manager to say what they would like to know. So it's a discovery, another discovery, another discovery. So a discovery is not one setup meeting. It's not a one-time thing. You're trying to learn everything. And when you try to learn everything, you can't do it in one meeting. That's like going out on a date, one date, and saying, I think we're going to get married. The demo is, let's go on vacation somewhere. And now both of you are on your best behaviors to see if you're going to be able to live together. And then, oh yeah, the vacation went great. Let's move in together. That's the proof of value. And then let's get married. That's not one meeting. It's courting. You're basically, discovery is courtship. You're courting the customer. I know some salespeople hate that. They want to just close the deal as fast as possible. But sometimes you can't. If it's a small to medium-sized business, you can't afford to do all these discoveries. That's a different story. But if you're an enterprise, it's the long-term thing. There are multiple aspects to discovery. Generally speaking, you're there with a salesperson as an SE. So you're the sales team. There are things that the sales team need to discover together. And there are things that the SE needs to discover, and there are things that the salesperson needs to discover. But in the end, as a team, you need to do most of the discovery so that you can work together. So let's talk about this as a sales team. Now keep in mind this is a YouTube video. I'm not going to have everything that the sales team needs to discover on together or separately, because that's a 5-day course. Discovery is a huge thing. And the tactics behind it is also huge. But some of the things that we need to discover together. And when I say together, I mean, I don't care who asks the question, as long as someone asks the question. We look at each other and say like, oh, you asked that list of questions and I asked that list of questions. No, that will be an interrogation, and that's one of the big things. And it's giving me a headache right now just thinking about it. I've seen so many sales teams where they're in a 30-minute meeting with a customer. The salesperson asks his or her questions for 25 minutes, and then they look at the SE, like, hey, do you have any of your own questions? And now SE has 5 minutes to ask all their questions. There is no time for summary or anything like that. So it's a conversation, 3, 4, 5 people talking together. Don't wait. There is no turn. So we're trying to figure out their business pain. The second thing we're trying to figure out is who is the champion? Who wants us to win? Whose life would benefit if we actually do win? And we're trying to figure out why that would also be helpful to them, but also who's competing with us. Now, we don't want to flat out go and ask, like, hey, have you looked at company X? Or I would ask the question, like, hey, what have you done so far to try to solve it? Right? Because they might have tried some internal stuff. And internally, or internal solutions is one of the biggest competitors that we have. So I want to see that they've tried it and they failed. Because if they haven't, it's very likely it's going to come up at some point and they're going to try it. I'm also trying to figure out, all right, so we know who the champion is. Who is the challenger? And I'm not talking about the challenger sale. I'm talking about internally. We have someone who wants us there, but we might have someone who does not. And they might fight for the competitor in that case. And then we're going to look at the cost of this business pain. And note that this is not like the most important to least important. I mean, we need to know the business pain, but we need to know all of this to be able to sell effectively. Otherwise, I like to say they bought despite of us, not because of us. So then we're going to look at the decision-making process. And so, well, that's the salesperson's job. It's not. Because there are some decisions that are based on technology. Like, hey, how are you going to decide what is the best technology for you? Right? They're going to say, oh, we're going to talk about it, we're going to do some stuff, and then we're going to talk to our manager, see if they have money and all that. Yeah, okay, so that might be part of the sales process or the buying process. But as an SE, you still need to know, how are you going to, in the end, decide that my product is better than the other person's product? Which includes the cost. Right? Products don't live in vacuum. If you're going to sell something, the cost is part of the technical consideration. If the cost is higher than the pain that it solves, then you're most likely not going to get anything, or you're not going to sell the product at that time. So these are some of the things. Again, it's not a comprehensive list, but I just want you to start thinking about, as a sales team, what do we need to solve together? And then you have the salesperson, some of the things that they have to solve or to find out are the purchasing process, for example. Oh, and here, you need to find out the timeline. Again, oh, this is a salesperson's job. No. As a technical person, you know it's going to take 6 months for them to implement the solution. If they're telling you, oh, we want it in 3 months, you know that you might have to do some convincing or figure out a way to get it done in 3 months. But also now the salesperson knows that, oh, if they want it done in 3 months, that means they have to buy in next week. So it's one answer can give you information for both parties to use. As a salesperson, I would like to know, like, who's going to make the decision, like, end financial decision. And by purchasing, I also mean procurement. Because I want to know the procurement process, I want to know who the procurement people are. Procurement. And from this side, I would like to talk about how they want to do it. For example, if I'm working with a customer and I have a good relationship with them, I know that I'm going to talk to the procurement guy and tell him, like, hey, this is the best price. Buy it. But some procurement people have the obligation or the metrics of adding an extra 3 points on discount for every product that they buy. And now they can show their manager, hey, look, I saved you $100,000 or whatever it is. Also, do they need to send it out for RFP? We're working together. Well, if I do all this work, are they going to buy from me right away? Or are they still going to have to go out and get an RFP process or get like 3 bids from different companies? They might have the RFP geared towards our product, so we have an advantage there, but it doesn't mean that the competitors will not have that. That's from the sales side. And then the SE side, I mean, we already know this, and most people are good at this part. We want to know the tech stack. We also want to know the technical champion, if we have one, and if it's different from the business champion. It could be the same person. And the technical challenger. So again, we want to know the timeline. So as you can see, there's more things in common between sales and SEs to figure out together, rather than you go out on your own and do your thing and I go out on my own and do my thing, because I'm not going to collect all the information. And sometimes I don't really care who asks the question. I mean, oh yeah, obviously, budget from the salesperson. That's what they want to know. As an SE, I also want to know that, but I wouldn't go out flat out and ask that question unless my salesperson forgets to. I've done that in the past. I didn't get yelled at, but it looked awkward. And also, my salesperson did not ask that question. I needed to know. So I asked that question. I needed to know because the customer was asking for millions of dollars worth of products, and I didn't feel like they had the budget for it. So I asked the question, like, hey, you're looking at like $1 million worth of things. What is your budget? It's like $5,000. I'm like, I don't think that's gonna work. That was a conversation. So my question to you: what is it that you want to find out from a discovery call? Is there anything else that I'm missing, which I should be? So add it in the comments. And if you want to learn more about like the sales cycle as a whole, starting with qualification and lead generation, check out this video on, I guess, this side. I'll see you next time. Get back to work.